Okay, so today I'm going to talk about soft power. Now, soft power is a term created by Joseph Nye, and this is how he defines soft power.
The ability to get what you want through attraction and persuasion without the use of coercion or payment, I call soft power.
So, to give him credit, he does get close to defining the three methods of how you could get someone to submit. But what he's talking about is not power. He doesn't understand what power is. This is his definition of power.
Well, power is the ability to affect others to get the outcomes you want.
So that definition is only part of what power is. Power is anything that gives you the ability to affect change. Now that is affecting change, but it's only talking about humans. And what he's talking about is submission. Submission is different than power. You could have the power to get someone to submit, but submission is something separate. Like travel. You may have the power to travel from here to there. And there are many methods that you could use to travel. But saying that an airplane, flying in an airplane or driving in a car or taking a bus is a type of like different types of power, it's incorrect. There are different methods of travel. The power to travel is a power, but the different methods of travel are something separate. They're methods of travel, and the methods of submission are voluntary submission, submission through trade, and submission through coercion. So he gets close, but he also gets it wrong, because for one, voluntary submission is what he's referring to when he talks about soft power. Voluntary submission can be, he says it's the ability to attract. It can be convincing someone through explaining to them your position, or telling them about your fantasy, what you intend to do, and interesting them in joining with you in creating this fantasy. But it could also be a con. You could con them into voluntarily submitting. So there are ways to get someone to voluntarily submit without attraction, without convincing them in a good way to join with you in creating this fantasy, the fantasy that is why you want power. You want power to make the fantasy a reality. So in order to make the fantasy, you need people to submit. But how you get them to submit is either voluntarily, through trade, or through coercion. This is not power, this is submission. So there is no soft power. There are different subgroups of power. I came up with the term K-power, referring to this ability to get someone to submit to you, or getting people to submit to you. K-power, referring to king power, getting people to submit to you through either voluntary submission, submission through trade, or submission through coercion. There's no soft power, there's no hard power, there's only submission, voluntary submission, or submission through coercion, or submission through trade. So it's a falsehood. Soft power is a falsehood.